Frustratingly, this hasn't cut all the way through. I've not set it on high enough power, have I? That's not a good start. Okay, so I'm just going to have to do a bit of careful nibbling and persuade it to cut. And this is me not turning the laser cutter powerful enough. It's not a powerful enough cut, so it's not trimmed through fully. I've made a couple of little street signs that I was going to try and quickly cut out, but as you can see, it's not playing ball. That bit's loose. It's the circular part that's not going to be fun. Just stick that over there a minute. Let's see if we can tease the rest of this off. Hello, Pip. How was Pip this evening? Or this morning, your turn, your neck of the woods. There we go, it's come off now. There we go, little lollipop. Let's see if I can do this without breaking it. Now what I wanted to trim off first of all was so I could paint it. And the only decent red I've got, the only decent bright red I've got is this one. Let me see if I can find a decent brush now, because I've been messing with brushes. Good evening, Sarah. Oh, Sarah. Right, so I just squeezed a little bit of red acrylic paint onto this makeshift palette, and it's just cheap artist acrylic. And I'm going to paint my laser cut sign post. I'll let you into a little secret. All that work I did on the roadway the other night, I have decided to go over it again because I wasn't happy with it. So, so all that sort of dry brushing with the pigment powder, etc., it didn't work out. Or should I say, I wasn't over enamoured with it, so I decided to do something different. Well, I decided to do it again. Basically, I painted it all matte black. And then I've gone over with I've got a couple of household decorating paints that I found. I had a nice big matte tub of matte white and some black matte that I'd been painting my son's room with last year. So I mixed those together to get a sort of more weathered grey, and I've sponged that on over the top to create a much nicer road surface. So I'm now just going to add a couple of little details. I'm going to wait for that to dry. So I've got a road sign here, which is like a French parking zone sign, I think. Just quickly pan up. So there's my road now. It's just it's a lighter grey. They're not black. They end up being grey once they've weathered down. So I'll just stick that out of the way again. This is my other sign. It's a stop sign. Strangely enough, it's in English. I'd have expected French signs to be French, but this stop sign's in English, and I just want to just put a little bit of grey paint down. I'm going to paint this before I cut it out. So I've engraved a little bit of depth to that sign, which is going to be the back, and I just want to paint that grey first. All the other bits that you can see on here are just like test pieces. I'm attempting to make a lamppost see how that goes. See if we can tease this out now and paint the other side of it. So it's a nice octagonal signpost. It's pretty much the same as the UK stop sign. Hexagon with the word stop in it. See, isn't it now? Let's get my tempera palette out. Lost track of where I'd painted then. Let me just quickly blast that with the hairdryer. Sorry. Move that over, and I don't want to lose that, so I'll just put that out of the way a minute. This is probably not the best mat to be working on, so you can see what I'm doing. Let's just bring this piece of board down here again. Now I've actually printed off some little signs. They're not brilliantly legible, but they're going to do. They'll be good enough. I just want a representation of the sign of this size. What I don't want to do is lose the others. So this is for the red sign. Did I actually dry that? I didn't, did I? Let me just give this a blast of drying power. That's really hot. I'll move those out of the way so they don't get blown away like that piece of paper did. Which I've very nearly lost again. It just blew away. Okay. So I'm going to try and carefully cut this out now. I think scissors might be the order of the day for the circular one. Depends how accurate I can be. So there we go. Femme d'interdiction de stationner. Something to do with parking. So that should sit just inside that. I don't know if you can just make it out. There's a little bit of a lip on the Friday. Well done. You are indeed. I'm just doing a little bit of detailing work. How's the baby? We're currently resting. I'm just going to stick this down with a little bit of PVA, but first of all I need to degunk the PVA. I won't jinx it now. We'll not mention that again. Okay, so I just want to put a little bit of PVA glue on there. That's painted into that rim, or within that rim. So what I've done is laser cut the signpost part of it, and I've just etched a little bit of depth to the inside of the frame there, which should allow me to just sit that sign inside it. Like so. It's quite delicate this because it's only thin laser board. So that's one. And the next one, that's going to be difficult to cut out. It's this little stop sign. As you can see, it says stop. Which, like I say, is a bit... Well, I don't know how usual it is to have English language signs in the heart of France. I suppose it's universal, isn't it? Everything says stop. But I have seen some of them say arrêtez. I haven't been to France an awful lot, though. It's been a long time since I was last there, so I couldn't tell you much about it. All I know is that I've looked at the source photograph for this particular sign, and this is accurate. And oh my gosh, it's playing havoc with my eyes. Now, there's absolutely no chance I'm going to use super glue for this bit because it'll soak straight through. It'll soak straight through and I'll have no chance of rescuing it. It'll be ruined forever. Right, now this one, again, it's got an etching, but this is the back. This is the back of it. So the post will sit like that, and the etching part of it is behind it. So I need to stick that down. I need to stick that down first, and then I can stick it to the sign. I don't need that bit of paper anymore, but let's not throw away things until we have to. I'm just holding it down with the scalpel so it doesn't fly away, but also so I don't get my fingers covered in glue while I'm doing it. And let's try and line this up. I just want to cut a thin sliver of card now. I'll show you why in a minute. It's a little bit bent, so I can't get a knife underneath it properly. There we go. Where did I put my super glue? I do need super glue for this bit because I want it to glue quick. If I knocked it over, I've knocked it over. Now this is going to be important that I get it the right way up. So it's that way, like that. Good evening, Dave. It wasn't a great start. I've managed to miss. It's really, really small and fiddly, as you can see, to try and get it centred. And I've succeeded in super gluing my finger. Okay, and now the little bit of card will become apparent. I just want to put a bit of glue on there, and this is way, way overkill. Just a little band behind. Just wants touching it around the edge of the thing, maybe, with white. I don't know, I can't remember what it looks like. So let me just give that a quick blast of hot air to dry off a bit. And there goes the icon sign. That's already dry. Now I'm going to put that in place. Just give me a minute while I figure out what I'm doing. I've got some other tiny little bits to cut out tonight. But let's get these put in so I don't lose them. Squeeze myself out some new super glue. Now what I want to do is just put, in fact I might be better off trying to just dig a tiny hole in the floor for it to sit into. That might just excuse me, help. It might just help it stay in place better than just balanced. So it's going to go here and get the camera to stay put. So I haven't put any glue anywhere yet. So it's actually a little bit too tall, I think. I can just chop the bottom of it off. Yeah, that's better now. So if I just work out where it's going. It's kind of angled, so you can't really see it from this direction, you can only see it from the other. Like I say, I just want to mark off on the pavement where it's going to go. And what I'm going to do, yeah, kind of, it's just going to persuade it to stay put. So I'm just going to dip the very end of it in super glue and just a bit of the rim because it's touching the wall. And then we're going to put that down there. He says, making it wobble. It really is an odd place because it's kind of angled towards the wall, but that's where we are. Now let me just going to locate the other picture, which is right down the other side. I just want to see exactly where that is, and then we can try and get that in place. That is the wrong photograph. Bear with me. You see, all these photos look almost the same. Have I got a better picture of that? Not that I can see. I must have had, but I can't find it right now. Bella, please don't. No, 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 no. Bella. Down we go, girl. Sorry, just bear with me a minute. I just want to... I'm going to have to twist around without spilling my cup of tea. Where's the sign on? It's over there. It's become a real task to spin around on the table because of the sheer size of it. So just hang on a second. And I've got things on the table that I don't want to break. Right, so let's just zoom over there. There's the sign I've just stuck on. Oops, wrong one. And then the next one is in here. So I just want to come over to this bit. So my little stop sign is for this part of the road here. And this one is actually a little bit too short. After all that. to, rather than start again, I'm just going to elongate it with another section of sign that I have handy. Maybe put a little bit of plant material around the base. This is where having some working activator spray would have really helped, because I could have done this instantly. There we go, that's activated it just enough. Activate. Let's cut it just enough. And then I just want to work out how tall it needs to be. So let's cut a bit more off, and I'll paint that grey once I've got it down. It's just off camera a minute, sorry. Again, I've got that a little bit against the wall and a little bit on the floor, so I just need to touch that into some super glue at the side and at the base, which is off camera. I do apologise. In we go there. You can just see there next to the little grill. There you go. It doesn't seem to want to stay close. Right, so that's those two done. Next, I want to do a couple of little tiny chimney caps. Just push that over there a minute. So I've got some, same as I did the other night that went wrong, I've got some little chimney cappers that I need to make, but that's going to involve a little bit of fiddly cutting out. Now 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 4. Can I read? Yes, I can read. Yeah, looks like there's a lot of waste, doesn't there? But I can put them back in the laser, and the camera helps me to position. So if I wanted to cut something that was like this big, I can just cut there again. So yeah, it's very handy. Like I said, there's a camera built into the laser cutter software that well, it's actually in the machine, but it enables the software to be able to show you what's left on the sheet, so you don't have to fill the sheet all at once. Now, like I did with I tried to do with the other part of the chimney, I need to fold those down, so I'm just going to cut them all out first. What I've got is a top and some legs. I'm just putting those on top of the road for now. I don't know about you guys, but it's really warm today. The conservatory's quite stuffy. I could do with opening the door, but I can't really do that with the cat around. I also don't want moths invading the space either, so swings and roundabouts. I might as well just cut this one out as well, just in case anything goes wrong. We all know what happens when we try and bend these legs down. It snaps. You've got snowing. Oh, sorry, Friday, I'm not catching up. It's my laser cutter that did that. I could have made these out of plastic on the Cricut. That would have worked. But no, I laser cut these. Now, what I'm trying to do now is just bend. Can we see? No, we can't. Focus. I'm just going to try and bend these legs down. Now, I did actually etch a little score line, but it's far too weak for it to have actually registered. So it's a laser board, so it's 0.6 millimeters thick laser board. It's a special board, specially made to work with laser cutters. It's it does feel very much like wood. I think it's laminated card, but it certainly has a wood-like consistency to it. So I don't know if you can see there, I'm just bending these legs down, so it's going to form a cap for the top of the chimney pots. Not all of them though. And I need another pair of tweezers so I don't end up breaking what I've already done. It's getting harder to hold. So what I'm trying to do is very carefully bend without snapping it. I could feel that one give, as long as it holds on enough to be able to glue it in place. I'm having trouble focusing. I think my light's starting to fade. Okay, that's pretty much done it. Whoops, off camera. So we've got a circular top and some legs. Just put that nice like a little spider. So I want to do another 3 more. I did actually do one of these the other day, but I appear to have misplaced it. I did it as a test to see if it was going to work. I do have a rectangular chimney cowl to remake because my clumsy arm managed to lean on it after I'd glued it in place. I get a little bit I can't think of the right word. I get a little bit preemptive with putting details on. I want to see how they look there and then, whereas I really ought to think more about the time for placing things. Like the tiny fiddly details that are really delicate really need to go on last, to sort of avoid things like leaning on them, especially when you're having to reach over to work on other parts. So with the tweezers I'm trying to grip hold of it with a flat part, so I can apply more pressure to the bend. I'm trying to grip hold of it right at the point where I want it to bend, so it's bending in the right place. That's 3. So I'm just doing the final bend with my finger just to make sure it goes over. Nice 4. I'll just twist back up there so you can see where they are. I'm doing a lot of creaking again. I really need to oil this chair somehow. Like a little spider line indeed. Now this is going to be quite tricky to apply on camera. Right, what I need to try and do now is glue it right onto the top of that spire. Spire? It's not a spire, is it? Chimney pot. Bit of creative thinking. Could do with an extra light shining on there actually, because it's, even though it's daylight outside, it's getting a bit dim in here. See if I can get extra lighting. It hasn't made an awful lot of difference to you, but it has to me. Now I just want to bend these in a little bit more, if I can, because it wants to sit on top. Now this is going to be quite tricky to do. Off camera, I'm just going, because I can't bend it down far enough, I'm just going to dip those feet into a little bit of super glue. Or am I? Yeah, I am. I'm going to try super glue first. I was thinking, should I use wood glue? Because I'll have a little bit. Oh, Bella, no, no, Bella. I'll have a little bit more playtime with the super glue. So with wood glue, but with super glue, it'll also stick quicker. So it swings and roundabouts. The other downside to it is if you get your finger with a little bit of glue stuck to it, it'll stick to your finger. Likewise, if the tip of your tweezers ends up glued, you get it stuck to the tweezers instead, which has happened here. And now I've just dropped it. And dropped it again. It's landed in the courtyard, and I think it's acquired a little bit of grass. No, we're not playing. I'm going to try this again with dipping it in super glue. No, we're not. I'm going to try the other method. Let's see if I can do it with wood glue. Because like I say, we'll have a little bit of, yeah, Bella's in scene again, isn't she? She does like being involved and seeing what I'm doing. It's not quite so bad at the moment because she's just sat on the courtyard. There's nothing really to break. Okay, so I'm going to just dip those feet back into the super glue. No, the wood glue. Come on, Bella, off you come. There, that's stuck this time. Well, it's on and it's in the right place. Now then, the next bit's going to be harder to film because it's quite low down. So let's pretend I've actually done it and you can see what I'm doing because I can't film it. I can't get the tripod high enough. So you kind of have to bear with me. I'll bend them in place, but I'll have to glue them off camera because, like I say, I can't get the camera holder high enough to be able to show you what I'm doing. It's the downside to it being such a big model. It's the same as I'm doing there. I'll get it off the holder to show you them after I've done it. But if you just bear with me a minute. It's another one that's been rather tricky, but that's in place now. I'm not entirely sure as to whether the other two are actually have caps on because none of the photographs actually show the very tops of the chimneys. Because it's quite tall, from ground level you don't actually see I'm kind of assuming they do, but they might not have. So it's a question of whether, should I do it? Should I not? Yes, I think footprint wise it's not too far. It's not too far off the farmhouse. I think the farmhouse might just be a little bit bigger. There's a lot more land with the farmhouse. Sorry, I'm just trimming something off the top of here. I need to put some more legs on the cowl for the square chimney. I wish I could. Yeah, it is. It's oh, there we go. You can just see that's the cowl that I've just put on this chimney here. I'll just zoom in. That was just, I shouldn't have done that, should I? It was on, and now I've managed to knock it back off again. There we go, that's better. Sorry, there we go, that's on. Bit of touching up to be done. Now these are the two chimney pots that I wasn't sure about. I don't think they actually have cowls on, but it kind of makes sense if everything else has, that these should really have them as well. Everywhere that there is a chimney pot has a cowl over the top of it, so I'm going to go ahead and add them. So again, I just want to force the legs, persuade the legs to sort of bend in on themselves a little bit. Yeah, sometimes I get a little bit impatient, but yeah, it's adding all the finicky little details that that lifts the job. But you have to be quite patient, especially with sometimes it doesn't go to plan and things end up falling off. Can't really see that, can you, because of the backdrop, but rest assured it's on. So I'll just do the final one. Then I really need to do that other cowl. It's not Simon. Favourite type of building to make is definitely a stone building, so this has been a lot of fun. I much prefer stone because they have much more character. Are you off? Legal documents, okay, that doesn't sound fun. I can't really say enjoy. But okay, yeah, I might have to go for a little while as well. Oops, that's just not gone in. I'd completely and utterly forgotten to drink my tea, but I think the cat's found it. There we go, that's another one. These are very, very tenuously glued in. Right, let me just see if I can find another photograph. Not very easy to see, but I've printed off some little numbers. You can just about make it out there. I'm going to try and add those on. Do you want to come out of the room, little boo? Is that what you're whinging about? Oh, I've got something else to do as well on the roadside, which we may come to. Let's come down here. This is super small. Try and zoom in, but the camera just won't stay put. Sorry, it's just, it's too loose, and now with trying to get that adjusted, I've lost a thing. Let's hope it's got enough glue left on it. Right, so where I'm trying to put this is up here. Can we see what I'm doing? Nope, I've gone off camera. There we go, over here, and this number 8. Just goes on the wall there. Well, it would do if there was enough glue left on it. Because I was faffing around so long with trying to get it in place, the glue dried. And now I've got a little bit too much on it. And Bella's back. There we go, number 8 in place. Now I'm just going to try and get Bella out of the room, because as much as I love her being here, I'm getting rather nervous. Come on, girl. Okay, so we need another one. My brackets have all gone too loose. I can't get the holder to stay put properly because it keeps sliding. So let's get this number 10. It's all one house. It just has 2 numbers because I think it was once divided. I'm sure I've got a better picture of that. No, that's not what I was looking at. Sorry. I jumped off onto something else. Oh, that's the number 10. Sorry. There we go. Need a bit of glue. So there's the man that knows. So the number 8 is actually the old post office part. Dip that into some glue. And we zoom back on this bit. That excess glue should dry clear. There we go. Just try and smear a bit off with the thumb. them back out again. I'm just going to try and do something a little bit tricky again. A little bit of paper dipped in some super glue. Twofold. One, I want it to glue, and the other reason is I want the super glue to stiffen the paper a little bit. It's quite a thick paper, but I just want to make a tiny little bracket there. I keep swiping onto a comment. There we go. It's sticking out a bit too much. Let's just see if I can snip that off. The answer is no, I can't, not until it's fully cured, so we'll just leave that a little bit long for the moment. I'll attempt to snip it off in a minute. Clatter. Right, I was looking for something I didn't realise I wanted until just now, so it was hard to find. Let's see if I can do this. I can't find the wire that I wanted for this bit. We'll see if I can do it with a piece of cotton instead. This might be just a bit too much. No, it isn't. I need to. I want to try and do is there's a little tiny pull cord. Must have been for a bell. A little tiny pull cord that came down here. What I was going to try and do is stick that on with, but I need some wire. I need something that I can twist, and the cotton that I've got is not. It's not. I keep swiping into comments. The cotton that I've got is not good enough. I have a really thin piece of wire. Cotton that I've got is not. It's not. I keep swiping into comments. The cotton that I've got is not good enough. I have a really thin piece of wire. I've only got a little bit left, but I can't find it right now. Which is the story of my life, isn't it? So next, just go back over here. I've got some. What have I got to do? I've got a few more bits to do in various places. I need to paint those little cowls with. It's not Simon. I need to paint those little cowls with some grey paint, but again, it's kind of off. It's going to have to be off camera because because I can't get the camera up high enough to be able to properly focus. So I just do a couple of other little details. Picture hanging wire, yes, I think it would. I have some thicker gauge wire that I've just found, but yeah, again, it's too thick. So I'll leave that for the moment. I know you're all still patiently waiting for the wisteria that I'm kind of dragging my heels over getting round to. No real reason other than that I just haven't got round to doing it yet. Yeah, I think dental floss is going to be too thick as well. I do, like I said, I do have some wire somewhere. Only a little bit left, but I should be able to use that. I'll do it off camera. Sadly, it was a nice, cute little detail that would have been nice to show you, but I can't find the wire right now. What I need to do is have a quick tidy up of my desk area. There's a couple of tiny little bits here that I just want to add. While we're at it on this side. I wrote down a list of things that I wanted to achieve tonight, and I've gone and left them at work. I attempted to laser etch the thing that I'm doing now, but it just didn't come out. It's far too small. So, don't know if you can read that, but this is the street name that it runs onto. It's not the name of the road that the place is on, but this is there. Yeah, see, it's a bit too small for legibility purposes, but you can it kind of gives the effect of what I'm wanting to do. So, I'm going to stick that on with a little bit of glue. I have to think about how I'm going to apply this now, because what I don't want to do is drown it. So I'll paint some glue onto it whilst I'm holding it with tweezers. This is a this is a terrible, terrible paintbrush. Let me just try and get this in place. So this road sign kind of goes about this high, street sign. And then I wasn't able to make this completely accurately in miniature, but it's just a nod to the little plaque that's on the wall. Nice little bit of carving. It's mostly worn away now, but there's a little bit of carving. I don't know what the history of it is, maybe Ray does. It's just on the gate post. Just adds a little bit more detail to it. So that's that bit done. Now, one thing I noticed, this is the danger sometimes of using Google Earth based on versus up-to-date pictures, is that you end up seeing things that you end up having things on screen that aren't there anymore. You've no idea. You'll have to, when he has the meeting with the mayor, you'll have to see if you can find out. So yeah, there's a little bit of road marking detailing that's on the most recent picture I've got, but is not on the excuse me, is not on the Google Earth. So what I've done is I made a little template from paper. So there's like a footpath, because there's hardly any footpath here, it just disappears to almost nothing. So there is a footpath that starts just about where this doorway is. So it's marked on, like a footpath marked onto the road, so you can walk down the roadway. So I've made a little template. Now, this is something else I've done just before I came on this evening. So this is the newly marked road. As you can see, I've put on a little fixed area. The manhole cover needs repainting. It's a little bit washed away. So, and I've also put a little mark with the change of tarmac colour. So I think it's a lot more realistic now. I think I was trying to go too dark before, and the new roadway is much more sort of worn looking. So the final finishing touch for the road, like I say, is going to be adding these this road template. And it's too big for printing all in one, so I've had to do it in several pieces. I tried to be clever and do it on a piece of masking tape first, but for some reason it didn't cut through a masking tape. I'd put it onto a backing and it kind of lasered straight through the backing tape, straight through the masking tape and into the backing, but it didn't actually cut through the masking tape, which was very, very bizarre. So I'm going to have to be ultra careful with using this as a template, because it's not going to be stuck down. But I figure that trying to template out rather than painting freehand is going to be much more successful. Now, I've just heard the door go, so I think I'm going to have to go for a little while and then come back. it has indeed gone. So I'm going to call it a break there, and I'll see you all again soon. Right, so I've decided that these lines are a little bit too wide, so I just need to trim it a little bit, and this guy's a little bit too far over. So what I'm going to do is so I'm still going to use the template, but what I'm going to do is just cover part of it with some masking tape. I'll take that little guy off so I can put him back on again in a minute. So what I'll do is, just to thin that line out, I'm just going to stick some masking tape over the top of it. I just wanted to mark off where it fits up against the wall. So it's in two pieces. I need to put the first piece down. What I intend to do is use a sponge to dab the lines in. So if I just put my little template down like that, I just want to make sure my walking guy is going to fit in there. I might just have to pull him out just a little bit. I drew this up by eye, you see, and it's not entirely accurate. So that's the other part. I had to do it in two pieces. And my little walking man's just a bit too far over. Use some thin masking tape, and I'm going to thin those lines out by just sticking some tape down. Also, it has the added bonus of sticking the template down, or sticking the stencil down a bit more closely. What I want to do is get some fairly dry paint. So like I say, I drew this up with by eye, and I've now realised, having applied it to the roadside here, that it's a little bit big. So the lines are a bit too thick. It's also a bit deep. At least it's holding flat to the floor. It's proving tricky to pick up. So it should bode well for excuse me. It should bode well for sticking down when I paint it. Now I just need to check another picture. I'm not entirely sure where that starts on the other side, so I just need to try and find a photograph. I can't see the picture. Sorry, it has a definite start point at the other end. I just need to find a suitable photograph that shows that point. That's not it. I keep opening the same one. When you're looking at thumbnails, they all look the same. Just bear with me a second. I'm just looking at my laptop. I keep looking at the same wrong photograph. That doesn't show it either. Got it. Right. So that actually starts just about where that vent is. And you can't see what I'm doing here, can you? Let me move down. So this is the other end of the template. And as luck would have it, it kind of overlaps directly onto that one. Just get the masking tape again. Gone a bit too far. Let me just trim that end off. Can't pick it up. It's just too flat. Right, so I'm just going to nibble the bit off the end there. And that piece in there is a bit fuzzy. There we go. So if I then, I've just spotted that hasn't come out. Has now. I'm just sticking that down, making the line a little bit thinner. And I want to put this in first, and I'll put my little person marker in. So I'm going to use a little bit of sponge here. This is just an artist's sponge, and I'll use my scrappy piece of palette to get some paint down. So a bit of Vallejo white. It's a nice thick white this, so it should be okay. Get a sponge wet with paint, but not too wet. I want to dab it into the template, but I want to be careful that I don't go over the edge there, which I've left a bit open. By dabbing it with the sponge, I'm putting it on fairly dry, so it shouldn't seep underneath too much, but it should also have that nice little worn paint effect, you know, as if it had been down a while and started to erode a bit, rather than using a brush. Thinking perhaps this bit of sponge is a bit too big. time for more paint. Can't really see here very much. Let's just let's hope once I lift the template off that it looks like I hope it looks. I hope it's going to look. I keep saying template, I mean stencil. It's a stencil. Right, there we go. That's worked really nicely. I just need to dry that so I can put the other part of the stencil on now. Now there is actually another little bit of slight suggestion of road marking that just comes in here where the road kind of joins in. So if I'm very careful, I might actually be able to achieve that. It's kind of where the junction comes in, so it just should just give the suggestion of the road continuation. And then I just adapt this template to make a slightly longer line. Just comes off at an angle. I'll fill that bit in. So we're like being a road crew here. There isn't enough paint left. I'm going to need some more anyway for the little walkie people. I need to put down. This is really fun. Oh, that made me jump then. The cat made itself jump and it's just made me jump too. Now that has actually smeared a little. It's the first little bit of error right there. Let's just see if I can fix it with a bit of kitchen towel. And a bit of water. That's fine. I'm going to dry that now before I end up putting my arm on it. That's fine. I'm going to dry that now before I end up putting my arm on it. Right, had to be disturbed yet again because reasons. Someone wanted me to log into something for him. Please, Bella, don't jump up there. She's after my tea, which isn't there anymore. Bella, no, don't chew things. So let's just stick this little fella down in it. Where's my sponge gone? He's interrupted absolutely everything. I don't know where I am. No, Bella, no. Danger cat. Right, let's just get a bit more paint on this sponge. Good evening again. I'm just destined not to be able to properly go live tonight. Whether it's people coming back after being out, or whether it's my son coming downstairs and wanting me to log into Disney for him, or the cat's jumping on the table. Anyway, I'm going to try and get this footway finished, if it's the last thing I do tonight. Oh, I've just painted the road as well. Painted the pavement. I didn't mean to do that, and this is me getting stressed. And I've ended up making a mistake and painting the road. Pavement. I've painted the pavement. I'll just see if I can just add a bit of water there. Try and touch it out. Cat's helping. I will be able to put a little bit of debris, weeds, such like in that part. Okay, now let's see if I can just do the other part, which is down here. Excuse the arm. I'm just taping it down a bit better just to see if I can get it flatter. Right, and my little sponge. Right, and my little sponge. Let's see if I can avoid painting where I don't want it to paint right now. Somewhere on this table is a pair of tweezers. I had them a moment ago. Can't find them. And there we go, those are our road markings. Oops. I think I'm tempted to actually do that one again. It's a little bit too far over. Yes, I don't know how much longer I'll be back for. It's been a bit of a strange evening, really. For interruptions, I'm going to try and blot this back out again. I'm not happy with it, it's a little bit fuzzy. Hello, Georgia. It has dried in quite a lot though, so what I'm going to do is try and paint over it with some of the original road colour. I'll attempt to fix it. I think my templates ended up a little bit too soft. It's still very, very wet. Right, I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that because I'm going to end up ruining it if I try to go over the top of it. I'll just leave that to dry and then I'll do that in a little while, because like I say, if I try and cover that up again now, it's going to go wrong. I do actually have another little man template thing that I can use in a minute. Right, so I'm going to do a little something else now whilst I'm just waiting for that. In fact, I might even wait until tomorrow for that to dry. So I'm going to do something else. I'm going to stick a little bit more weed debris around the place, and to do that I've got some smaller bits of static grass. I've used some bigger pieces elsewhere, so I'm going to just find a scrap bit of wood to squeeze out some glue, and then I can paint some little bits of... No, I found this tub. So I'll put a little bit of wood glue on there. And what I'm going to do is just paint on some bits of glue. Just trying to find a decent rubbish brush. Hello, decking company. How are you doing? And hello, Georgia. Sorry. Yeah, I'm okay, thank you. I was a little bit preoccupied with my thing that wasn't working. Just come down here. I could do with the glasses on. Where have I left my glasses? Answer, not in here. Again. Oh well. I'll have to go blind. Right, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue around the footer of this gate post here. And around the sign. I mean, it's not ideal there being weeds all over the pavement, but it just adds a little bit of extra realism, which I like to put on. So I'm not going to use static grass applicator because that's way too much overkill for this. I'm just going to pick up some little strands of static grass with the tweezers and just sort of tease them into place. This is a grass that's sort of badged North Europe 2mm. It's kind of a washed out kind of grass. So it's not bright green, it just lends itself well to these tiny little bits of weed growth that's growing at the side of the gap between the road and the curb. And it's just a little bit more effective than the little bits of foam. So I just keep tweezing some. In my tweezers, is that a word? Tweezing? Do you tweeze something? Is it the act of tweezing? Anyway, I'm picking some bits of static grass up and just poking them into place. Let me see if I can just zoom in a little. If I end up with a little bit too much, I can always brush off the excess. It's just a nice little satisfying final detail. Just brings the scene to life. So this is the easiest way, just clumping it up with your tweezers and gently prodding it into place. just need to look at my photograph again now and see how we go down the street. So it's not an awful lot much more down the streets. The worst of it in terms of weeds are at the top end. Then we kind of stop because we've run out of pavement, and then I'm going to add a little bit more here, just because I can. Add a little bit there, a little bit here, and then some just after the step. And then I don't know if yes, I am on camera. Just a little clump in the corner there. You thought it was an actual street. Oh, excellent. That's what I like to hear. I mean, it is an actual street in France, but it's in miniature form. That's the sound I hate hearing. I haven't a clue what I've just tipped off the end of the table there. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Snaky Joe. Very kind of you. Right, now I'm here. I'm just going to paint the bottom of that extended stop sign. I just need to squeeze. I've not got very much this grey left. There we go. This little upturned soft cheese carton has been very useful tonight. I just need to remember not to dip into the glue instead. So if you were watching a bit earlier, I just made this post a little bit too short, so I'm just rectifying that. going to add a little bit more colour to that drainage grate. Oops, I've got a bit of paper stuck to myself. I think I need to enhance these. I need to enhance these weeds down this side a bit more. They're a bit too sort of vibrantly green. I'm going to add some more of that grass. Just exaggerate it a little bit. But I think it just needs a little bit of something. It's the foam works really well as an understructure, but sometimes it looks a little bit false. It could have done with actually being painted. I think maybe that would have added something to it, and if I have time I'll probably try and just run a little bit of wash over it to dull it down maybe. So everywhere where I've got this foam flock that I've put down to represent sort of scrubby weeds, I'm just going to paint over some PVA. And we'll add some more of that static grass by hand or by tweezer. Some bits a bit loose there, which means that the glue wasn't very strong that I put it down with in the first place, but I don't mind that. There's a little hair there. At least my eyes tell me there's a hair. I'm just going to work my way down, just paint all the way along there with some glue. So if I end up lifting a bit of the foam, I don't mind, because it is a little bit too much. Okay, we've coated that with enough, I think. It's a much more muted colour this, so it doesn't look as gaudy. I'll just bring that into screen so you know what I'm doing. I'm just lifting up some little small clumps with the tweezers and just poking it into place. Any bits that don't stick down can just be gently vacked off as much as you can gently vac something. But the fibres should stick down into the glue. It's soaked in quite a bit there, so I'm just going to put a bit more down. The stuff that's down on the base coat is homemade. But the static grass isn't. I haven't yet figured out a way of making my own static grass fibres. Although you can make some fairly convincing homemade static grass out of nylon twine if you shred it fine enough. It's sponge, the underlaying flock, it's quite porous, so it soaks up the glue quite a lot. And to make the grass stand up, it needs to be wet but thick, if you see what I mean. It can't just be damp, it has to be thick enough for the grass to actually stick into. I'm probably putting a little bit too much on more than there actually is. Weeds against this wall, but it just gives a bit of interest. Probably yes, if you shredded a carpet down. It has to be like nylon carpet though, as opposed to wool. Maybe I need to give it a go with a bit of old carpet. Right, what time are we on? 10:30. It's not that bad, is it? I'm not gonna be on too much longer. Has that bit dried? Not entirely. I wonder why. It's taking a while to dry. I'm probably better off leaving that until tomorrow. So I just want to try and come round. I just have to move this a bit. It's happened again. It keeps snagging and bringing my back cloth down. Have to lose it all together. Right, I just want to move down to this corner here. We'll add a bit more on this section. This time I'm just going to be a bit heavy-handed and squeeze some neat from the bottle all the way along that. See, this is artistic license all the way along here anyway, because like I say, there is a building normally in real life, but I've decided not to include that because it would have made for a really huge model, or even huger than it already is. So like I say, this bit is a little bit of artistic license in this section. So we're just continuing the theme of weeds. Against the wall. Again, I'm just putting clumps of static grass fibres into neat PVA, which is on top of scenic foam. The texture of the walls has really come out really nice. You'd never know it was MDF under there now. When this is dry, you won't be able to see the white glue. Right, I'm quite happy with that now. I think that's enough of that. Probably one of the things I dropped earlier was the lid for that. Still this end frame to paint yet. If we just come round here, just to show you, this is another little plant I've added, climbing plant around this side. And that kind of finishes off that little bit. This is still to glue down because I can't put that down until the wisteria is on. I'm kind of running out of things that I want to do tonight. I'll just paint that plant pot. The plant pot that sorry, not plant pot, I'm thinking ahead, chimney pot I decided in the end to go for a bit of modeller's license and go sort of halfway. The carving wasn't going to work, so I've just left it to the ball. This is a bit bright at the moment, it will dull down with some wash. And the cat's making an appearance again. Catzilla, not helping. You're really not helping. Oh, it's a good job you're lightweight. It's a good job you're lightweight. Good evening to Mendez, thank you. Ah, you'll get there, you'll get there. She's very nosy. Ah, you'll get there, you'll get there. She's very nosy. I'm gonna have to put her out of the room because she's making me yawn. Right, let me just try and touch up these little chimney cowls that I put in. Yeah, she's very inquisitive. Most of the time she just sort of sits or wanders around the room without being too destructive, but every now and again she just decides that she's going to climb up onto the table and investigate. Because this diorama, such that it is now, is quite big, she wanders across it in a worrying manner. Oh, I've got a model railway layout that I'm building in the garage for a client, and if I've accidentally left the garage door open and my outdoor cats get in there, I've found them sleeping on top of it before. Which is she's not really not too much of an issue until they end up squashing. Which is she's not really not too much of an issue until they end up squashing level crossing gates. Bella is a model inspector, yes. I'm just off camera there. So my backdrop has fallen off because it got snagged. So usually I've got a bit of a black curtain across the back of here, which makes it a bit more photogenic. Just adding a spot of paint to these cowls that I've added. I've got one more to put on, but I've got to put that one back on. It broke off. So we are really getting there now. I've got a few things that I want to do yet. I've still got the wisteria to make. That's going to make an awful lot of difference to that. To do yet. I've still got the wisteria to make. That's going to make an awful lot of difference to that. Oops. See, I can't get it straight. Just can't get it straight. It keeps twisting. I need to wait for the roadway to dry so I can get the last little marking on, and then that'll be done. so I can get the last little, then that'll be done. To do on the road done. I do, however, the street comes into it, so we've got the pedestrian. The street comes into it, so we've got the pedestrian walkway. I've just got another little man to put at the bottom there, but I messed up and had to overpaint it. So, but it's for some reason it's not drying very quickly, and so I've got to wait until that little bit of road has dried back off again. Let's see if I can get this backdrop put back up again, because what keeps happening is every time I twist the model around, it catches on it and pulls it off the pole. It's just nice with a piece of black cloth up there rather than the window showing. Excuse me, I have a cough now. So I think I'll add the, excuse me, I really have got a tickle in my throat now. I'll add the wisteria manufacturing to the list tomorrow. I think I need to do that. I've got quite a lot done tonight, which is good. I can't bend the camera any further, it just keeps moving. I really have got a tickle in my throat now. I've done a rough laser cut of the lamppost. I don't think that's going to work. We'll have to see. I've got about 20 minutes now, I think. Let me just see how far I can get with trying to make the. I'm going to try and make the lantern part, the glass part of the lantern. I don't know how successful this is going to be. I drew it up yesterday, but then some of the lines were a little bit too fine, so when it came to laser cutting, it just fell apart. So I want to see if I can actually make the lantern section before I progress to trying to build the rest of it. It's all dependent on whether it folds together. I've designed it so it should all bend and join, but whether that works or not I don't know, because the score isn't deep enough, I don't think. Oh, Cat wants to come in now. He always wants to come in when I'm in the middle of something. I can't see. I'm in the middle of something. I can't see. I'm in the middle of something. I can't see. I'm in the middle of something. This is going to work. This is going to work better if I can manage to score, fold it along the score. Like I say, it's so fine. broken it then, but it's actually worked. It's folded. I want to try and do this now because you're watching and I'm in the middle of something, but the cat is persisting at the window, wanting to be let in. Like I say, he always does this when I'm in the middle of something tricky and can't break off. And then it makes me look like I'm ignoring him. I'm just scraping some super glue debris off the tweezers to make it easier to hold. Where was I? Yeah, so what I want to try and clamp the tweezers tight against the join that I'm bending, and then use the set square, which I lost for a moment. Alright, just bear with me a minute guys, I'm going to have to go let the cat in. Just make sure I shut that door, otherwise he will come in and jump on the table and cause chaos. Right, I want to just see if I can get this folded up and glued together before I decide to call it a night. I think I'm being rather ambitious here, don't you? Fingers are covered in paint as well. I probably should have made the top out of a separate piece. Right, I'm going to have a go at gluing. camera. The glue's not being super today. I bet it glues to the tweezers though. It's hard when I'm doing this to stay in shot. It hasn't glued. Yeah, I'll tell you what, my eyes are struggling right now. I normally have some reading glasses and I've put them down somewhere. Can't find them. Well, I could find them if I went looking for them, but I've no idea where they are. If you see what I mean. They're usually on the table next to me, and I must have been wearing them earlier and taken them off somewhere. So I'm struggling with it. My eyes are starting to sting because I'm trying to super focus. And this is just so fiddly, as you can see. I think I'm trying to be too clever having it all fold together. Maybe I should have just done it in sections and glued it all. This is frustrating, but it's frustrating for you too, isn't it? What I really need, you too, isn't it? What I really need, I keep saying this every time, I need some activator spray, and I've run out, and it's just one of those essential tools. So if I had the activator spray, I could just give this a spray now, and it would stay put. Thank you for the gift. Is that Chris? Hello Chris, I've not seen you for a while. I always feel like, oh, I'm just about to go and somebody turns up. We are really struggling with this. I'm trying to persevere, but I am struggling. We are very slowly creating a lantern shape, but it is not playing ball, and I keep grabbing it with my tweezers in the wrong place. The thing I haven't done yet though is glue it to my fingers. I mean, there's plenty of time, but that's usually the thing I haven't done yet though is glue it to my fingers. I mean, there's plenty of time, but that's usually a staple. This is absolutely isn't the best glue for this because it just doesn't seem to. It just doesn't seem to want to hold, but I would absolutely get nowhere with wood glue because it just doesn't set quick enough. I need a third hand now and a can of activator spray. Sometimes a little bit of moisture in your breath helps, but you know, it's funny because if I'd got this glue on my fingers, they'd be stuck fast. Mind you, the reason why that works is because your fingers have some natural moisture in them, and moisture is the thing that helps superglue set. When it's something as dry as this, it just sometimes doesn't. Sometimes doesn't. Just help I keep picking up the wrong pair of tweezers. I want these ones. Ah, there we go. It's stuck to my fingers finally. I bet I didn't do a spare set of this, did I? The answer is no. I think what I'll try and do is tomorrow cut out another version of this and do it in pieces rather than trying to do the folds, because I don't think the fold's working. It's just it's proving too difficult to stick. It's like the schools, isn't it? It's so frustrating. And I'm losing the ability to focus now. You were saying I must have good eyes, but my eyes have gone now. They're refusing to focus. I mean, it's fairly sturdy-ish, but the trouble is I keep moving it to a point where I can see it better, but when I can see it better you can't because I've gone off screen. Yeah, maybe sleep on it. I'm just going to persevere with this for a few more minutes. It's 11 o'clock now. I mean, I'm quite happy with my progress tonight. This is just a nice little detail if I can get it to work. This is just a nice little detail if I can get it to work. think I actually might have got that to stick together. Let's just see if I can get the rest of it done. Lost my scalpel. That nearly went on the floor. Looked like it landed on the mat. This piece is even smaller. was stuck to my finger and all of a sudden it's not nice there. I think I'm going to call it a night. I'm frustrated with this, so it's my eyes are stinging. I'm going to sleep on it and come back to this tomorrow. So thank you for watching tonight, guys. I'll just give you another final view of the roadway so far, and then yeah, I'll see you all again tomorrow, hopefully. And sorry to interrupt the discussion. I hope you get cosy. See you later, guys.